So I am going to talk about the various settings in Little Women and how those settings are so relevant to the plot. And even though this is an American novel, really, as you can see based on the map, there are other settings that are in parts of Europe. And these are crucial because anywhere that goes outside of the Massachusetts area, whenever a character leaves Massachusetts, they experience either relevant character growth or something crucial happens to their character that is super relevant to the plot. And so first we're going to start in Concord, Massachusetts. And the quote I have for this is, "It was a comfortable old room, though the carpet was faded and the furniture very plain, for a good picture or two hung on the walls, books filled with recesses, chrysanthemums and Christmas roses bloomed in the windows, and a pleasant atmosphere of home peace pervaded it." And that's from Alcott 13, page 13. And so this house in Concord, Massachusetts is extremely significant because it is where many major plot points and character developments in the novel take place. And the fact that it's in Massachusetts rather than another state is also a very crucial detail. When the novel begins, the Civil War is happening, and Massachusetts is a part of the Union Army, where Mr. March is currently serving. And the location in Massachusetts is also why Jo is able to visit New York, which is relatively close by in the second part of the novel. And then we are going to go to Rome, Italy. And this is when Amy is able to go to Rome. And it isn't a mere pleasure trip to me, girls. It will decide my career, for if I have any genius, I shall find it out in Rome and will do something to prove it. And that is from Alcott, page 244. And like I said, although this is a 19th century American novel, many things happen in Europe. And when they go away from Massachusetts, characters experience something crucial. And for Amy, going to Europe, especially Rome, she is able to further her career as an artist and achieve her ultimate dream, or her castle in the sky. And Europe is also where she and Laurie eventually fall in love, which will be relative later. And then we're going to go to London, England. And this is from Amy's letter to her sisters. "I shall never get to London if I don't hurry. The trip was like riding through a long picture gallery full of lovely landscapes. The farmhouses were my delight, with thatched roofs, ivy up to the eaves, latticed windows, and stout women with rosy children at the doors." And that is from Alcott, page 246 to 247. And London is one of the first places Amy travels to on her trip aboard, and she is so excited to write home to her sisters about her travels, which shows through the tone and excitement of her letters. And this trip establishes that this isn't just a trip to Rome. This is a trip to all over Europe. Even though in the beginning they talk about only going to Rome, really this is a Europe trip. And so in Europe is sure to be one full of adventure for Rome. And then we're going to go to New York, back to America. And this is when Jo decides she is going to go to New York. And so the major thing that happens when she goes outside Massachusetts is that she meets her future husband, Dr. Bear. And the reason why she leaves Massachusetts in the first place is because she assumes that Laurie is in love with her, and she needs to give him space because she isn't in love with him and she doesn't want to marry him. And so the quotes that are relevant is between her and Marmee, where she says, "I'd like to hop a little way and try my wings." Where will you hop?" Marmee asks. "To New York," Joel answers. And then later on, Marmee says, "Are you sure of Laurie's feelings for you?" And Jo replies, "I'm afraid it is so, Mother. He hasn't said anything, but he looks a great deal. I think I had better go away before it comes to anything." And then Marmee says, "I agree with you, and if it can be managed, you shall go." And then it is eventually when Jo comes back to Massachusetts that Laurie admits his love to her. And so, because of that, it is crucial her going to New York to escape from Laurie is where she eventually sees Dr. Bear. And then finally we have France, and this is where Laurie goes after Joe rejects his proposal and he's absolutely heartbroken. And the major event that happens to Laurie when he steps outside of Massachusetts is that he falls in love with Amy. And so a quote that is relevant is, "Oh, Laurie, is it really you?" Amy says. "I thought you'd never come." She drops the reins and holding out both of her hands to the great scandalization of a French mama, which shows that she is in France. And again, this is where her and Rory end up falling in love. And in this change of setting, away from Massachusetts, it makes space for Amy and Laurie to be in love where there wasn't space previously in Massachusetts. And so that is my presentation. Thank you so much.